the D chord. In order to do this page, you'll need to review 3 chords: C chord, D chord, and G chord. Let's do that together. So here I have my whiteboard, and we're going to start by drawing these 3 chords. Let's make a grand staff. I just did this long line like this. That's going to be our grand staff. On top we will put the treble clef, and on the bass line we'll put the bass clef. Okay, so let's draw the C chord. C chord, let's first do it in the treble clef. C chord, it means the lowest note is a C. Then we'll put E and G. So this way of representing this chord, we will call it a blocked chord, because it looks like a block. So when you see this in your music, you would need to play all 3 notes together like this. Okay, so that's the blocked version. So the other version is broken version. It's when you're playing 1 note at a time. So let's just go ahead and do it here as well. So we're going to draw our notes 1 at a time. Okay, I'm going to put maybe like a bar line here so it looks better. Okay, so then we have like that. Okay, so that's blocked. This is broken. So you will need to recognize these chords in your theory book. Sometimes they will look blocked, and sometimes they will be broken. So 1 note at a time, like that. So you can see it's going to the right. So let's do the same thing using bass clef. Bass clef, this is our C note, this is E, and that's a G. And the broken version of recording it, it will be like that. Okay, so that's our C chord. Let's go ahead and review our D chord. D chord will need to have, again, we call the name of the note is, see, it goes on the lowest note, right? So that gives the name of the chord. So let's mark here maybe C. So now we'll do D. Again, D is on the bottom. So D chord needs D, F, A, and F is sharped. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the broken version of it. Okay, bar line. Okay, and then let's go ahead and do the bass clef. Bass clef D is here, F, A, and then we'll go back and put the sharp in front of the F sharp, the F. So again, broken version will be D, F, sharp, A. Okay, so that's the D chord. You'll need to recognize it. You can pause the video and learn this if you would like to. We will move on to the G chord. Again, let's make a grand staff. Put a treble clef, bass clef, and let's build a G chord. The G chord will start obviously on G note. That's my G note. B and D, no sharps or flats. The broken version will be just 1 note at a time, like that. And then the bass clef will look kind of, it can have 2 places. It can be lower G here. You can also use the higher G, so it's either one. There are 2 chords you can build here. Oh, you can obviously make even more. Okay, so let's do the broken version of it. So that would be the low version, low G version. And if you use this G, it could be looking like that. Okay, could be both ways. All right, so these are the chords you'll need to remember. Okay, so you can pause the video, study these chords, just make sure you remember. Now let's get back to our theory book. Theory book, they will ask us to either write a certain chord or recognize it, like here, right? You'll need to mark this chord. So I made a copy here, my paper, and I'm going to write it here. you can write directly in your book. So write the D blocked chord. So using the bass clef, I am going to do it here. Okay, so the D chord requires the F sharp. So that's the answer, D, F sharp, A. Now I will need to recognize this chord. So this chord, again, I'm looking at the bottom note because that tells me the root of the chord, and that's the G note. So that's G chord. Okay, let's do the next one. Write a D broken chord. Well, it's kind of the same thing as here, but notice that you have a treble clef. So now you'll have to do the D chord. But here's another thing. See, you have to pay attention. Sometimes it's blocked, broken, right? So what is broken? It's the same thing, except I'll just need to write them with a little bit like one step to the right. Instead of as looking as a block, it's going to be like, you know, one note at a time. You can think about this blocked versus broken like a snowman. I think in your lesson book you saw there was a picture, so I can kind of look if it's a snowman, or you have like a snowman, right? It's 3 parts. So it's blocked versus broken, like he broke down here. Okay, so let's do maybe a couple of more. So let's name this broken chord. Now this one you have to be careful. Again, you need to find the low note. So that's a G note, E, and C. So the lowest note is a C, right? And I can recognize that that's actually a C chord. So I'm going to mark it C here. Okay, I don't know if you can see that well. C chord. Okay. Well, let's find maybe one more somewhere down the road. You will need to do it probably by yourself. Okay, so how about this one? Okay, I need to write a G blocked chord. Okay, so it's a treble clef, and I need to write blocked. So I find the G, my first note. Oops. Okay, G, and then I'll do B, and then I'll do D, and that's my G blocked chord. So it's kind of fun exercise, I think, if you know those 3 chords. If you don't remember these chords, please review the first part of this video and make sure you really know these 3 chords, C, D, and G. Okay, well, happy practicing.